I'm going to show you the fastest and easiest ways to level up fast in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, how to get easy CP, all of that. There's a simple trick to get a ton really fast, and then there's also easy methods that are for like if you have a lot of time and you just kind of want to half pay attention to the game and just kind of be leveling up over time. There's ways to do that too. The first thing that you're going to want to know about is like the fastest way to level up is something called overkill. And the easiest way to do this is with what's called a chain attack, which you will acquire in Chapter 2. And once you have that, you'll easily be able to overkill enemies for crazy bonus XP. You can combo that with certain enemies to get even more XP. And this method will just, it's crazy how much XP you can get in just a few minutes. You'll also want to combine this with your class selection. You'll be able to change character classes in Chapter 2. And so depending on your zone and if you're ahead or behind, you'll want to optimize classes accordingly. So if you're in a zone and you're underleveled, then you may want to change your classes to a bunch of healers with one tank and one attacker. Or if you're overleveled, then you may just want to have like 2 attackers, 2 defenders, 2 healers, or 1 healer, depending on how overleveled you are for the area. In order to optimize the fights, the main thing that you want is you're going to want to get your chain attack ready before the enemy is actually dead, and then you're going to want to finish it with a chain attack. Now, you're going to want to do this to the enemies that have the blue markers by the names, or the unique enemies which have like the yellowy golden markers next to their name. Let me show you what I mean. So this would be the weaker of the two. The enemy has the blue little icons next to its level, and this is like a stronger type of the same enemies, and they give a ton of bonus XP. Now, in my case, I'm over-leveled for this zone, so I can't even charge my chain attack before this thing dies. And which means if you're in that situation, you should just go straight to the unique monsters instead and farm them. But if you do want to farm the blue ones, there is a trick that you can attempt, which is to fight a weaker enemy and then to help charge your chain attacks, and then just keep on like feeding off of that, and then slowly, like once it's almost dead, fight another one. Once it's almost dead, once your chain attack's built up some, then go join in the fight with the blue enemy instead. So I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna aggro this just so I can get more enemies to fight. And you would just keep on trying to, you have to keep yourself in battle, basically like this, until your chain attacks are like charged a third of the way or half the way or something like that. And then you're gonna wanna go run over and aggro the boss, well, the blue one. So that way you'll be able to get your chain attack before the blue named enemy or whatever it's called will die. Otherwise, it will die before your chain attack, and then you won't be able to do your overkill. I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead to me aggroing the blue one now after this. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to aggro it now, but the problem is it's really far away from this fight, so I may count as I ran away from the fight. It's gonna be close. We're gonna see here if I can do this. So I'm gonna try to use a special attack as soon as I get in range. I don't even need to. Okay, we got it. So now I aggroed this, and I'm now going to tell my people to follow the leader so they'll all come over to me so I don't get killed. And then we're gonna run over this and we're going to fight it. Although if you do this wrong, you'll end up aggroing 3 enemies like this, and then you'd want to focus the weaker ones first, which would be the smart thing to do so you don't accidentally die. But now I can actually get the chain attack on this blue enemy, which that is the pain in the butt you'd have to go through if you're trying to do it in an area where you're over leveled. Ideally, you're under leveled for your zone, and then it gets way easier to do this. You can just straight fight the blue enemy and then not have to do all this nonsense in order to overkill. Okay, but you'll get to see how much XP it gives me in a minute. I'll go ahead and skip ahead to where the blue enemy is almost dead, and then I'm going to finish with the chain attack, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so now he's getting low. You're going to want to stop using your special attacks and try to time this as close as you can to when he's 1 HP, but you want to be careful because you don't want your allies to finish him with one of their special attacks. So just get it close, and then you don't want to lose all your work. And then just pick whatever you think will make it do the most damage. So we'll just make it so some of the chain attacks are unblockable, whatever. Okay. Then, if you don't know how chain attacks work, I'm going to walk you on this one, and I'll walk you on the unique enemy too here in just a minute. So we'll start with an attacker. I don't have the perfect team comp for this, but we'll do the top one, the front blow. And now we're already into overkill. You'll see on the right the XP bonus, and that changes based on the overkill. So now what I will do is use a healer and use something so I don't go over. I don't, like, the healer's tactical points can't go over 100, so it's safe to attack next to the healer. Then you attack with a tank if you have one, which will let you reset and do a second chain attack. So because I finished it with the tank, we get to do a chain attack like this. And then after this, we'll get to do a second round because of that. I think there's more to it than that, but that's just what the game said about how it works. All right, and then reduce enemy physical damage during chain attack. That'll be good. Get max damage. And then we're going to open with this one again. And so that will do a ton of damage. And then we got nothing but healers now, unfortunately. So I actually kind of did that wrong. I should have attacked with the healer first. But whatever, you get the point. You do your chain attacks. Do the best you can to try to get the max amount of damage physically possible in order to get that XP bonus as high as possible. So now I can't actually finish anything like this, so this is not ideal. I could have gotten the XP bonus way higher if I had thought that through, but it's kind of hard to think straight when making a video. Okay, so yeah, because of that, this blue enemy, which also gives XP bonus, just by being a blue enemy, gave 707 XP, 243. Normal enemies here give like 40 XP. So it gave as much XP in that case as killing like 15 to 20 of these normal enemies, and takes significantly less time depending on which way you do. Now, obviously, that was kind of a pain in the butt the way I had that set that up, because I'm over leveled for this zone. Ideally, you're under leveled, and those blue enemies are stronger than you, and then you just fight them head on. You just get the chain attack before they die without having to bring in random enemies and stuff, and you're good to go, and it's like super fast. But the other option, if you're over leveled like this, is you can instead fight the unique enemies, which have a yellow marker next to them. And once you've beaten one of those for the first time, you can actually fast travel to their grave where you beat them, and then you can just sit there at their respawn point, or their grave, and you can just re-summon them as many times as you want, and just beat them as fast as you can. So you just work out whatever your ideal team comp is in order to be able to beat them, and just fight them over and over again, and just make sure to finish them with a chain attack. Now these ones you'll pretty much no matter what be able to get a chain attack, because they just have so much HP that by the time they're finally down to almost dead, you'll easily be able to get a chain attack, unless you're insanely over leveled for the area. And then once the HP gets really close to low, I'm going to stop using my ability so I can really try to get last second here. And then go for the chain attack, and then do your best chain attack possible to try to overkill the enemies. So we're just looking for everything that will increase damage. So we're not looking for aggro or anything. We're just going to go with this one. So I guess it's unblockable. Anything for damage. And then we are going to... You want to open with a red one. So if you have one of the red classes, you're always going to want to start with one of those. And then on the right, we can pick what to do. We're going to do front blowdown in this case. Then after that, you'll want to follow up with the best healer that you have, because then you can't go over 100 with that. So now we got overkill. Now from here, it's just all overkill. So now we're going to, you want to do a blue one to get the, when tactical points are going to 100, you want to pick a blue one next, because it will let you do this a second time for even more overkill. So now you can see the XP bonus at 229. It's growing. So the more you can overkill, the more damage you're going to get. So now we're already at 250% and 261%. Cool. Reactivation. All right. So now we get to reactivate it. We're looking for anything that will do more damage. Let's see. Physical defense. Sure. Hopefully that'll actually affect us the way that you would hope. And now we don't have another blue class right now with the way my classes were selected, but that's fine. So this will be the last round of it. So we're going to do this person. We're also going to do another front blowdown. She'll give a ton of TP. And now we want, since we can't go again, we're going to want to attack with both healers. Because the healers, the tactic points can't go over 100. So we might as well just min-max by having both the healers go real fast. And then finish off with whatever else you got. If you can finish off at all, depending on what your class setups are. If all I'd left those healers, I wouldn't even be able to finish this. Okay, and so then, yeah, we'll just go with air slash, it's fine. So that got us up to a 324% EXP bonus, and then we'll do a little bit more damage here for an even bigger EXP bonus. And so that will bring us to 333% more XP from the fight. I guess we got reactivation. I'm not 100% sure how this works actually, but okay, whatever, we'll pick this person. You get one more attack, apparently. Yeah, wait, one more attack. Not really sure how that worked, but okay. There we go. Now we're all out. 340%. Okay, so that was a unique enemy. That gave 1,283 EXP when everything else, normal enemies here give like 50 or something like that. So if you're in an area where the blue enemies are too weak, instead you can find one of these. And honestly, this might be a better option just because you can straight up repeat it over and over and over and over again as fast as you want, which is a really nice way to gain EXP and CP. So that's generally going to be the fastest thing that you can do for XP in this game. But there are other options because this one's a little tedious feeling. So another option you have if you want a more chill way to gain XP, there's actually a really funny trick you can do. And you'll do it different ways depending on what level you are compared to the zone. So right now, I'm really over leveled where I'm at. These enemies are level 15. My characters on this save are right now at level 17 for this area. So I'm not really in that much danger. And so it just depends on if you are or you aren't. So in this case, I'm going to be more aggressive with what I'm going to be doing here, but it's all about classes. So you'll want to unlock all your a bunch of classes by, you know, just getting CP with any class or different classes to unlock the different classes for your main characters, so that each of them can do whatever you want. The main thing here is if you're weak, you make a bunch of healers and one attacker and one defender. And if you're really strong, then you can bring the healers down and instead have 3 attackers and 1 defender and the rest healers or whatever. You know, you want to combo that however you want, but you just want to make sure that you have enough healers in order to not die even when it's like 5v1 or something like that. So whatever you need, however many healers you need depending on how over or under leveled you are. Let's say I was under leveled though. If I was under leveled, then I would go over to this person, put him on that. I would leave this person on defender, let's say, and now we have 1 attacker, 4 healers, and 1 defender. And with this, what I can do then is I can just mindlessly run around and just aggro enemies. And this is like something you would do where you aren't really worried about your time. These aren't even enemies, like really actually safely, or not safely, but easily aggro. But this is one where it's like you're not worried about your time, you're worried about the amount of effort you feel like you're putting in. So you'll just kind of smack everything that's nearby, aggro anything that will aggro easily, and then bring them all back and just let your allies fight them for you. I mean, you can sit there and fight too if you want, but as long as you secure your team comp to where you won't ever feed. Also, you want to follow the leader once things get mixed up like this and bring everyone together, and then undo the follow the leader so that way the healers are actually correctly healing everybody. But then you would just set up like this and then play with your phone or whatever and just gain XP. And then whenever the fight seems like it's over, you'll get back into it and then go grab some more enemies. Now, this is like obviously not even close to as fast as the other way I just showed you, but this is like your go-to XP farming when you're not worried about your time. You can just play on your phone or do something else while the game's going. The game basically will auto-play battles for you if you just set this up. So I do this a lot for me specifically because I'm a YouTuber, so if I wanted to level up like this, I would just get set up like this, and then I would tab out and be working on my YouTube videos or something like that. And then once I hear the battle music stop, I would tab back over to the game, and then whatever, I'm playing it through a capture card and all this. And if I was on a Switch on a different monitor, same thing. I mean, Switch has wireless controls, right? I just have the controls. I hear the music, I'd look over at the screen, grab a few more enemies, set it up, and then I would keep doing whatever I'm doing on my computer. Or if you're watching a TV or something, go watch TV for a bit or something. So, again, it's not going to be your fastest way, but it's going to be your most convenient way, for sure. If you have something else to focus on at the same time, definitely the most convenient way to gain XP in this game. Now, another way to level up, definitely not the fastest, but just so you know your options, is another way to level up. Once you unlock these resting spots, the first one you'll unlock in Chapter 1, once you have these, there's an option in the very first one they'll give you, which is to level up. If you don't know how this works, you'll get bonus XP from various things that you do in the game, and then you can use that XP to force a level up. And so one of the things that you can do for bonus XP, which gives you another avenue for leveling up if you're like a pacifist basically, is, you know, when you're running around, there's these items, and you can just grab these items. Well, different items in different areas can be turned in for different Collectopedia card quests, which you'll learn about in Chapter 1. So if you open up your menu, go to quests, head over to this. There's Collectopedia cards, and they'll want various items. And if you can get those items, you can turn these things in an infinite number of times as long as you have the items. And you'll see in this case, it's 40 XP. So that right there, just doing that one time, is almost the equivalent of killing a level 15 enemy in this area. Now, these quests will change as you go on. You'll get more and more of these as you go through. Like in the beginning of Chapter 2, you get this one now for Shill. And if you happen to have all those items, then, well, Shill, I don't know that it gives XP, but there will be other ones as you go through. But you can turn those in repeatedly for that bonus XP, and then you'll go to the camp and you'll spend that bonus XP. Now, is it the fastest way? Probably not. The time it takes to actually, because it's more about more than gathering the materials, because you might gather material and it might not be the one you want, and there's going to be like a specific area of a specific map, like in the Atia region by Colony 9, in order to get the Dark Graves, Black Kiwi, and all that. It was like, okay, it was right in this zone only. And then for other things, it was like, okay, in order to get the mushroom, it was over here. So like, if you know where all the items are that you need, and you're just able to farm them, it's still probably slower. I almost say it's definitely slower than overkilling enemies with chain attacks, but it's definitely another option. So it's like, if you want to, you can level up while playing anyway. Just grab those as you're running around, and whenever there's an appropriate Collectopedia card quest, you can just mass turn it in, and then go to the camp and then level up more times. Again, that's the fastest way, but I'm just make sure you know all the reasonable options for leveling up in this game. So if you're still watching at this point, there's a question of how do we put this into practice in a real practical way. So if you're trying to level up fast, now it depends, are you playing on hard mode, normal, or easy, all that matters, but generally the ideal way to level in this game is going to be to get as far as you can on the levels that you do have. So like, ideally, I'd want to get to this zone and be like level 10 or 11. Like, go, just like, don't fight anything. Skip all random encounters. When you run through a few aggro things, just ignore them and be picking up items for quests. Also, it's just like on your path to the next main quest objective or side quest objective, just grab whatever's kind of on the way. Just ignore the random fights. Don't even bother with them. And then you'll have random items to turn in for quests. And then you'll end up in an area under-leveled, which is what you want, because then you'll be able to fight the blue enemies, like the stronger enemies that are not the unique enemies, and you will finish them with chain attacks without killing them before your chain attack comes up. And then you'll be able to get, like, it's the way it works in games like this generally is like, if you can get far enough forward, then one fight's going to give you an exponential amount of XP for the level you are. So then you're going to therefore level faster. If you combo that with blue enemies and unique enemies and the chain attack overkill system, then that's just going to be your fastest way to level, right? Like, you just go to an area, you're under-leveled, you find a blue enemy, set up your classes however you have to so you can kill it, overkill it, and then just suddenly you gain like 2 levels or something and catch up, do it again, get another level, do it again, and now you're all caught up to the area. Whereas if you just run around and you grind the random enemies, you'll lose so much time because it's so much slower than just falling behind on purpose and then catching up. You just want to fall behind on levels and then catch up by overkilling a blue or a yellow enemy and just rinse repeat until you've gotten back up to the strength of the area. And that's the practical way to do leveling in this game. Now, again, it's gonna be a little different from hard mode to easy mode to normal mode, but if you can, you're just trying to get through the game with the least amount of grinding possible. That's what you're pretty much gonna want to do. And that's pretty much everything I can think to tell you about leveling, XP grinding, farming in this game, and CP as well, because it's all just CP gains are basically just scaled to XP gains, so it's kind of the same thing. So yeah, that's pretty much everything there is to know about leveling in this game, generally speaking, and that's gonna be your go-to way to get leveled up and keep up with the areas that you're in so that you can complete the game faster if that's what you want, or if you just want to get leveled up to make it easier, whatever reason that you're trying to level up. Hopefully now you have a better idea of the optimal ways to level up in Xenoblade Chronicles 3.